The company's annual holiday party was supposed to be a fun evening. Food, music, and laughter among colleagues. My wife Lily had been talking about it for weeks. She worked as a marketing manager at a tech firm, and this was their biggest event of the year. She'd spent the whole day picking a dress, fixing her hair, and reapplying lipstick in front of the mirror. When she stepped out in that sleek red gown, I couldn't help but admire her and feel a twinge of unease. Something about her excitement felt different, but I brushed it off. After all, she was my wife. I had nothing to worry about, or so I thought. When we arrived at the venue, it was packed with music, chatter, and a few too many glasses of champagne. Everyone seemed to know Lily. Her co-workers swarmed her, complimenting her dress and laughing at her jokes. I stood by her side, smiling politely, the husband in the background. Then I noticed him. Ethan, her tall, smooth-talking co-worker she'd mentioned more times than I liked. The moment he saw her, his eyes lit up. "Lily, you look incredible," he said, completely ignoring me. She smiled, blushing slightly, and replied, "Thanks, Ethan. You clean up well, too." That was the first moment the night started to turn sour. For a while, I tried to ignore it. I chatted with a few people, grabbed a drink, and told myself not to be the jealous husband. But as the night went on, Ethan's presence became impossible to overlook. Every time I looked over, he was there, standing too close, whispering something that made her laugh, brushing her arm in that casual but not casual way. I clenched my jaw, trying to stay composed. Then the music changed, and the host announced the start of the couple's dance. Before I could even ask Lily if she wanted to dance, Ethan extended his hand and said, "May I?" I expected her to decline politely, but to my shock, she hesitated, then smiled and said, "Sure, just one." My stomach dropped. I stood frozen as she took his hand and walked onto the dance floor. The crowd cheered as the lights dimmed and the soft melody began. They danced close, far too close, her hand resting on his shoulder, his arm tight around her waist. My blood boiled. Every spin, every step, every smile she gave him felt like a betrayal, a public humiliation dressed as fun. When he dipped her dramatically at the end of the song, the crowd clapped and Ethan smirked at me. That was it. I didn't make a scene. I simply finished my drink, set it down, and waited for him to walk back with her. He approached with that smug look, the kind that said, "I got under your skin." "Man, your wife's a great dancer," he said, patting my shoulder. "You're a lucky guy." I forced a smile. "Yeah," I said quietly. "Luckier than you realize." Lily looked between us nervously. "Ethan, maybe you should." But before she could finish, I cut in. "Actually, Ethan, since you like getting close to other men's wives, how about I show you how I dance?" The smirk disappeared from his face. "Hey, man, relax," he started, but he didn't get the chance to finish. My fist connected squarely with his jaw. One clean, solid punch. The room went dead silent as Ethan stumbled backward, crashing into a table and landing flat on the floor. Gasps filled the room. Someone shouted, "Oh my God!" Lily screamed my name, grabbing my arm. "James, what are you doing?" I looked down at Ethan, clutching his face in shock, and said evenly, "That's your warning dance. Next time it won't end with a handshake." Security rushed in, trying to defuse the situation, but I was calm. Too calm. "I'm done here," I said, turning to leave. Lily followed me, humiliated, whispering, "You embarrassed me." I stopped at the door, looked her straight in the eyes, and replied, "No, Lily, you embarrassed us. I just ended the performance you started." The party behind us descended into chaos. Whispers, camera flashes, and Ethan being helped to his feet. I walked out without looking back. That night, silence filled our car. She tried to defend herself. "It was just a dance. James, you overreacted." I didn't say a word until we pulled into our driveway. "You let a man hold you like that in front of everyone," I said quietly. "You let him treat me like I wasn't even there. You call that just a dance?" Her eyes filled with tears. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she whispered. I nodded slowly. "Maybe not, but you did, and the world saw it." The next morning, Ethan called in sick. The story spread through her office like wildfire. Everyone knew what happened, how her innocent dance turned into a public spectacle. Her boss called her in for a professional conduct discussion. When she came home, she looked broken. "They think I was flirting," she said miserably. "They said it made the company look bad." I just shrugged. "Actions have consequences. You didn't respect our marriage last night. but now you know how it feels when respect disappears. Weeks passed before things cooled down. Lily apologized over and over, admitting she crossed the line, that she'd been caught up in attention and ego. I forgave her eventually, not because she deserved it, but because holding on to anger would have only poisoned me. But Ethan, he avoided me like the plague after that night. I didn't need to say another word. The knockout had already done the talking, and every time someone at her office mentions that party, they remember one thing. The moment the husband, who'd been quiet all night, stood up, ended the mockery, and reminded everyone, respect isn't given, it's earned. And when it's taken lightly, it can be knocked out in one clean,